Mr. Harrison, I cannot process this withdrawal. The bank teller's voice was quiet, but something in her tone made my hand freeze halfway to signing the form. I looked up at her. Young woman, maybe 30, with kind eyes that were now filled with something I couldn't quite place. Not just professional courtesy. Fear. The kind of fear you hear when someone knows they're about to destroy your world. I'm sorry, I said, confused. There must be some mistake. She glanced around the TD Canada Trust branch, then leaned forward slightly. Her name tag read, Sarah Chen. Her hands were shaking. Mr. Harrison, she said, even quieter this time, this signature doesn't match the one we have on file for your power of attorney documents. She paused. And sir, I think someone's been stealing from you. Can you please come to the manager's office with me? That was 8 months ago. 8 months since my entire world turned upside down. My name is Michael Harrison. I'm 60 years old. Divorced engineer with an $850,000 settlement and a son in Vancouver who convinced me to move north after the split. Just temporary, Dad, Tyler said. Until you find your own place. I should have found my own place. I have 2 children. Tyler, my firstborn, 38 years old, and Sarah, my daughter, 41 now, who built her own consulting firm in San Francisco. When Sarah needed $200,000 to start her business 8 years ago, I gave it to her without hesitation. She paid back every penny with interest within 4 years, just before my divorce. Tyler knew about this. That's where the resentment started. After Eleanor and I split, Tyler was insistent. Dad, you shouldn't be alone. Come to Vancouver. Stay with Amanda and me. We have that finished basement. Take your time finding a place. The first few months were fine. Amanda seemed genuinely happy to have me there. We'd watch hockey together. Talk about the Canucks. Tyler had a job in tech. Amanda worked in real estate, though her career seemed to be struggling. Then things changed. The signs came gradually. Too gradually. Amanda started making comments. You should contribute to the kitchen renovation, Michael. Say, $50,000? You're living here rent-free. My mail stopped arriving. I'm handling that now, Dad. Remember, you gave me POA. Don't worry. I tried to check my online banking one day. My password didn't work. Bank security reset, Tyler said. I'll get you the new one. He never did. Then my investment advisor called. Michael, just confirming you're okay with moving $150,000 from your RRSP to a joint account with your son. My blood ran cold. I never authorized that. Pause. But we have the paperwork, signed by your power of attorney. That's when I knew. I started paying attention. Really paying attention. Tyler and Amanda having whispered conversations that stopped when I walked in. Amanda's new designer handbags, Tyler's new Audi. Work, bonus, he said with a shrug. One night I couldn't sleep. Came upstairs for water, heard them talking in the kitchen. He's not going to live forever, Tyler. Amanda's voice. I know, but we need to be careful. If he gets suspicious, he won't. He trusts you completely. He's your father. Besides, even if he found out, what's he going to do? When was the last time Sarah even called him? My hand shook as I held my water glass. I quietly went back downstairs. That's when I stopped trusting anyone. For 2 weeks, I documented everything, every comment. Every time Tyler checked his phone nervously when I entered a room. Every time mail disappeared. I pretended to be the confused old man they thought I was. Asked the same questions twice. Moved slowly. Let them think I was declining. But at night, alone in my room, I was building a case. Then one afternoon, while Tyler and Amanda were at work, I did something I never thought I'd do. I searched their room. Tyler's office door was locked. I'd seen where he kept the spare key. My hands shook, opening the drawer. Inside, bank statements. Not mine, his and Amanda's. Credit cards maxed out, personal loans in default, a printout from a cryptocurrency exchange showing losses of over $300,000. They were drowning in debt. In Amanda's laptop bag, I found browser history, searches for offshore accounts, and medications that cause heart attacks in elderly patients. I photographed everything. My phone camera kept refocusing. Click, click, click. Then I found the voice recorder, small device hidden in the kitchen drawer. Tyler must have been using it to track my conversations, looking for signs of cognitive decline he could use against me. But when I pressed play, I heard their voices. Amanda, we need to speed this up. What if Sarah finds out? Tyler, she won't. She's too busy with her perfect life to care about Dad. Amanda, your father has at least 20 good years left, Tyler. We can't wait that long. Tyler, then we adjust his medications. My buddy from college, the pharmacist, he said small doses of digoxin over time can cause arrhythmia. Heart issues run in families, right? I played it again. Had to be sure I heard right. We adjust his medications. Make it look natural. He's lived a good life. The recorder slipped from my hand. I sat on Tyler's office floor. The carpet smelled like stale coffee. I noticed that. Noticed the dust under his desk. Noticed my hands had stopped shaking. 42 years of being his father. And he'd priced my life at however much was in my accounts. That's when I stopped feeling anything at all. I drove to the bank the next morning, the one where I'd banked for 15 years. I'd like to review my accounts, I told the teller, Sarah Chen. She pulled up my information. I watched her face change. Mr. Harrison, I need to show you something. Could you please wait here? She returned with the branch manager, Patricia Morgan, stern woman, mid-50s. They took me into an office. Mr. Harrison, Patricia said carefully, I need to verify your identity first. She checked my driver's license, asked security questions. Then, someone with your power of attorney has been making significant withdrawals from your accounts. Were you aware of this? I felt dizzy. How much? Patricia slid a statement across her desk. Over the past 14 months, $285,000 have been transferred out. The number sat there on the page. $285,000. Gone. 14 months of systematic theft while I lived under his roof. There's something else, Patricia continued. 3 weeks ago, someone called, claiming to be you, trying to wire your entire investment portfolio to an offshore account in Panama. We flagged it as suspicious and declined. And today, Sarah Chen added quietly, your son is here trying to withdraw $45,000 in cash, but the signature on his POA documents doesn't match the original we have on file. My whole body went numb. Mr. Harrison, Patricia said gently, these are your accounts. I can show you the transaction history, but I think you need to consider filing a police report. Show me everything, I said. The next 2 hours they showed me. The RRSP transfer, a joint account I'd never agreed to. Cash withdrawals of $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 at a time. Credit card applications in my name. Then Patricia showed me a document that made my vision blur. This is a will that was filed with a lawyer 5 weeks ago. According to this, you're leaving your entire estate to Tyler and Amanda. Your daughter Sarah is completely written out. I stared at the signature. It looked like mine, but I had never signed this document. Mr. Harrison, Patricia said quietly, your son forged your signature. I believe he's been systematically defrauding you, and given what you've told me about your symptoms, the dizziness, the weakness, I think you should see a doctor immediately. Sarah Chen leaned forward. Mr. Harrison, your son is still in the branch. Security is with him. We told him there's a processing delay. You need to decide what to do. What do you do when the person you trust most betrays you? I thought about Eleanor, about the 30 years we'd spent together, about the values we'd tried to instill in our kids. "Call the police," I said, "and I need copies of everything." Patricia nodded. "We'll need you to file a formal complaint. The police will want to see all the evidence." "I have more evidence," I said, "at home." 90 minutes later, 2 Vancouver police officers arrived at the bank. I showed them the statements, the forged documents, the photographs from Tyler's office. Then I played them the recording. Tyler's voice filled the small office. "We need to speed this up, adjust his medications, make it look like a heart attack. He's lived a good life." Detective Chen, a woman in her 40s, looked at me with something like respect. "Mr. Harrison, this is one of the most comprehensive elder abuse cases I've seen. With the recording and the medical angle, we're looking at attempted murder." "I know," I said quietly. "Are you ready to confront him?" I took a deep breath. Yes. They brought Tyler into the manager's office. He looked confused at first, then worried when he saw the police officers. Then his eyes met mine. Panic. "Dad, what's going on?" Trying to sound casual. "Tyler," I said. My voice was steady. "I know what you've been doing." His face went pale. "Dad, I don't know what you're talking about. You've been stealing from me." I placed the folder of evidence on the table. $285,000 over 14 months. You forged my signature. You researched ways to poison me with heart medication. I watched his face do this thing, this micro-expression I'd seen when he was 7 and broke Eleanor's favorite vase. Fear, then calculation, then the decision to lie. That's insane. I'm your power of attorney. I'm managing your money, without my knowledge, without my permission. My voice rose. You forged a new will. You planned to kill me. Detective Chen stepped forward. "Mr. Tyler Harrison, we need to ask you some questions." "No." Tyler stood abruptly. "I'm not saying anything without a lawyer." "Dad, listen. This is a misunderstanding. We needed money. Amanda and I have debts. I was going to pay you back." "By forging my will? By poisoning me?" Tyler's jaw tightened. "You have more money than you need. You're just sitting on it while we're drowning. We lost everything in crypto. We have loans, credit cards maxed out. So you decided to steal from me. You gave Sarah $200,000. He shouted it. His voice cracked. For a second, I saw the teenager who didn't make the engineering program, who watched Sarah get my approval without trying. She got everything, your pride, your belief. I was just Tyler screwing up again. He wasn't wrong, not entirely. That's what made it worse. She earned it, I said coldly. She paid me back. She built something real. You chose to steal. Because you never believed in me. Sarah was always the favorite. That's not true, isn't it? Tyler's face twisted. Every time I called, you asked about Sarah, her firm, her success. When did you last ask about my work? Detective Chen put a hand on Tyler's shoulder. "Mr. Harrison, I think you should stop talking." But Tyler jerked away. "No, he needs to hear this. You were never there. Always at work. Always too busy. Mom raised us while you kept the lights on for strangers. And then when I finally needed help, you couldn't even see it." I stared at my son. At this man I didn't recognize. "Tyler, if you'd asked for help, you would have lectured me about responsibility, about being more like Sarah." He laughed bitterly. "Well, guess what? I was taking what should have been mine anyway." The officer stepped forward. "Mr. Tyler Harrison, you're under arrest for fraud, forgery, and attempted harm. You have the right to remain silent." I watched them handcuff my son, watched them read him his rights, watched him look at me one last time with something between hatred and desperation. "Dad," he said as they let him out. "Please." I said nothing. Amanda was arrested at her open house that afternoon. She tried to flee to the border. They caught her at Peace Arch with $15,000 in cash. The police sent me to Vancouver General that evening. Blood tests confirmed it. Digoxin, borderline toxic levels. Another week or two at this dosage, the doctor said, and you likely would have had a fatal arrhythmia. Your son gave you a dose this morning, didn't he? I nodded. Tyler always made my coffee. You're lucky, the doctor said. Very lucky. I didn't feel lucky. That night, I called Sarah from my hotel room. I'd left Tyler's house with one suitcase. Dad? She answered on the second ring. I was just about to call you. Tyler texted me something about you having a breakdown. Sarah, I need you to listen carefully. Tyler has been stealing from me, trying to kill me. Silence. Then, Dad, that's insane. Tyler wouldn't. I have proof. Bank statements, forged documents, recorded conversations of him planning my death, blood tests showing he's been poisoning me. Can you come to Vancouver? Another pause. Longer this time. Dad, I have a major client presentation next week. Are you sure you're not confused? Maybe the divorce has been harder than you thought. Sarah. My voice broke. Please, I need you to believe me. Dad, Tyler's my brother. He wouldn't. I have recordings of him discussing dosages, of him saying I've lived a good life and it's time to speed things up. The line went quiet for so long I thought she'd hung up. Then finally, I'll be on the next flight. Sarah arrived the next morning. I picked her up at the airport. She looked exhausted, worried, skeptical. We went to my hotel room. Small place in Yaletown. Temporary. Show me, she said. I showed her everything. The bank statements, the forged will, the photographs. And then I played her the recording. I watched my daughter's face as she listened to her brother planning my murder. Listened to him say, "We need to speed this up." Listened to him discuss medications and symptoms. She made it through 3 minutes before she put her head in her hands. "Oh my God," she whispered. "Dad, I'm so sorry. I thought you were being paranoid. I thought maybe you were lonely after the divorce and imagining things." Her voice cracked. "I should have been here." "You're here now," I said. She looked up at me, tears streaming. "How could he do this? You're our father." "I don't know, honey." "Have you talked to him? Since his arrest?" "No. I need to see him. I need to hear him explain this." 2 days later, Sarah went to the Vancouver pretrial center. I didn't go with her. She came back 3 hours later, looking shattered. "Well?" I asked. She sat down heavily. "He blames you for everything, for favoring me, for not helping him, for having money while he struggled." She shook her head. "He said he was just taking what should have been his anyway." "That's not—" "I know, Dad. I told him that." She paused. "I need to tell you something. 6 months ago, Tyler called me, asked to borrow $50,000, said he had bad investments. I asked what kind. He got defensive, talked about cryptocurrency. I told him I wasn't loaning money for crypto gambling. He called me a bitch and hung up." I stared at her. "You never told me." "I didn't want to worry you. I thought he'd figure it out." She laughed bitterly. "I didn't think he'd start poisoning you." "Did he mention me during that call?" "He said you had plenty of money and should help him. I told him to ask you himself. He said you'd just lecture him." She looked at me. "Then he said something I should have warned you about. He said, 'I'll get my share eventually, one way or another.'" The words hung between us. "Sarah, this isn't your fault." "I know, but I should have told you he was desperate." She wiped her eyes. "What happens now?" "The trial starts in 6 weeks. Crown prosecutor says it's a strong case. Will you accept a plea deal?" I thought about the recordings, about the digitalis in my bloodstream, about my son in handcuffs. "No," I said. "I want a trial. I want everything on record." Sarah nodded. "Good." The trial took 3 weeks but felt like 3 years. I had to sit there day after day watching Tyler's lawyer try to paint me as a confused old man who didn't understand his own finances. Watching them try to claim the power of attorney gave Tyler the right to manage my money however he wanted. But the evidence was overwhelming. Day 1, they showed the jury my bank statements, numbers circled in red, transaction after transaction, $285,000 over 14 months. Day 4, the pharmacist testified, Tyler's college roommate. Tyler told me his father had a diagnosed heart condition and needed digoxin. I believed him. He was his son, his power of attorney. He seemed genuinely concerned about his father's health. The prosecutor asked, "Did you ever speak to Mr. Michael Harrison directly about this prescription?" No. Tyler said his father was too proud to discuss medical issues with strangers. And you believed him? He was his son. I trusted him. Day 7, they played the recording. Tyler's voice filled the courtroom. "We need to speed this up. Adjust his medications. Small doses of digoxin. Make it look like a heart attack. He's lived a good life." I watched the jury's faces change. Watched them look at Tyler with something between disgust and disbelief. Tyler's lawyer tried to argue the recording was inadmissible, but the judge ruled that since Tyler had placed the device in his own home to record conversations, it could be used as evidence. Tyler's own paranoia had convicted him. Day 12, Tyler's lawyer approached the prosecutor about a plea deal. 8 years for fraud and forgery if they dropped the attempted murder charge. The prosecutor called me that evening. "Mr. Harrison, it's your decision. Attempted murder is hard to prove. The defense will argue he was only researching, not acting, that the doses were too small to be lethal. If we push and lose, he might only get 4 or 5 years total. What do you recommend? 8 years guaranteed is better than risking less." I thought about my son, about the boy he'd been, about the man he'd become. "No deal," I said. "I want the jury to hear everything." Day 18, the jury convicted Tyler Harrison on all counts: fraud, forgery, and attempted harm. The judge called his actions a profound betrayal of familial trust and sentenced him to 8 years in federal prison. Amanda, who'd pleaded guilty in exchange for testimony, got 5 years. I sat in that courtroom and watched my son being led away in handcuffs, and I felt nothing. No satisfaction, no vindication, just an empty space where my son used to be. Sarah sat beside me, holding my hand. "It's over," she said quietly. "No," I said. "Now comes the hard part." With Sarah's help, I hired a civil lawyer. We sued Tyler and Amanda for fraudulent transfer of funds, elder abuse, emotional distress, and punitive damages. "We're sending a message," my lawyer told the court, "that elder financial abuse by family members will not be tolerated, that there are consequences beyond criminal prosecution." The court agreed. They awarded me $680,000. Every penny stolen, plus damages, plus legal fees, plus punitive damages. The court seized their house, their cars. Amanda's real estate license was revoked. Tyler's professional certification suspended. They lost everything. "Good," Sarah said when the judgment came down. "They deserve it." But I felt something else, not satisfaction, sadness. This was my son, and I'd just taken everything from him. "Dad," Sarah said gently, reading my thoughts, "he took everything from you first. He tried to take your life." "I know." "Then stop feeling guilty." But guilt isn't rational. 6 months into their sentences, Amanda filed for divorce from Tyler. Her lawyer claimed she'd been coerced and manipulated. They got her paroled after 3 years for good behavior. When I heard, I felt a bitter satisfaction. Tyler had betrayed me. Now Amanda had betrayed him. Some lessons come hard. Tyler wrote to me from prison, long letters full of apologies and excuses. The first one: "Dad, I know you're angry, but please understand I was desperate. I never really would have hurt you. Amanda pushed me into everything. I was weak. I'm sorry. I read it once, put it in a folder, never looked at it again. The second letter, 3 months later. Dad, you've destroyed me. I have nothing now. No wife, no house, no career. Was that really necessary? I'm your son. Don't I deserve a second chance? I didn't read past the first paragraph. The third letter. You always loved Sarah more than me. This just proves it. You'd forgive her anything. But me? I make one mistake and you throw me away. You're the one who failed as a father. I burned that one. Sarah took a sabbatical from her firm, spent 3 months in Vancouver helping me rebuild. We fell into a routine. Morning walks along the seawall with Buddy, the golden retriever I'd adopted from the SPCA, Sunday dinners at her favorite restaurants, long talks about Tyler, about second chances, about forgiveness. Dad, can I ask you something? She said one evening. Of course. Do you think you'll ever forgive him? I thought about that question, really thought about it. I don't know. Right now, I'm focused on forgiving myself. For what? For not seeing it sooner. For maybe making Tyler feel like he had to compete with you. Sarah put down her fork. Dad, Tyler's choices are his own. You were a good father. You gave us both the same love. He chose a different path. That's not on you. But what if I did favor you? I asked. What if I was too critical of him? Were you? I thought back. To Tyler's childhood, his teenage years, his 20s. I was probably harder on him. He struggled more, made impulsive decisions. I wanted him to learn from consequences. And I was the easy child, self-motivated, didn't need guidance. Maybe I took you for granted. Maybe I spent so much energy worrying about Tyler that I didn't appreciate you enough. Dad, you gave me a $200,000 loan to start my business. You believed in me when I had nothing but an idea. You didn't take me for granted. But Tyler saw it differently. Tyler chose to see it differently, Sarah corrected. He could have asked for help. He could have been honest about his struggles. Instead, he chose to steal, to forge documents, to poison you. Those were his choices, not yours. I knew she was right. But guilt doesn't listen to logic. She went back to San Francisco after 3 months. But she called every Sunday, video chatted every Wednesday, visited once a month. And slowly, I started to rebuild. I moved into a condo in Yaletown, 10th floor, view of False Creek. Smaller than the house Eleanor and I had owned, but it was mine, paid for with the money I'd recovered. Buddy and I helped each other heal. Long walks, quiet companionship. We both slowly remembered how to be happy. I started volunteering at the BC Center for Elder Advocacy. They taught me about financial literacy, about recognizing warning signs, about protecting seniors from predators. Then they asked me to speak. We'd like you to share your story at our monthly information session, if you're comfortable. I wasn't sure I was ready, but I thought about Sarah Chen, who'd saved my life by paying attention, about Patricia Morgan, who'd taken me seriously. I'll do it, I said. The first time I told my story to strangers, my hands shook, my voice cracked, but I got through it. I told them about the warning signs, sudden interest in finances, missing mail, changed passwords, pressure to sign documents. If something feels wrong, I said, trust that feeling, even if it's your own child, especially if it's your own child. After the presentation, a woman in her 70s approached me, tears streaming down her face. My daughter has been doing this to me, she whispered. Everything you said, that's what's happening. I helped her file a police report the next day. That was 2 years ago. Since then, I've spoken at dozens of senior centers. I've helped 23 families file reports. I've saved countless others from making the same mistakes. It's not revenge. more like redemption. Taking the worst thing that ever happened to me and turning it into something that helps others. Tyler's been out of prison for 8 months now, living in a halfway house in Surrey, working at a warehouse apparently. He sent 5 more letters. I haven't opened any of them. Last month he showed up at one of my talks, stood in the back of the community center, arms crossed, watching me tell our story to a room full of seniors. I saw him halfway through. Our eyes met. I didn't falter. I kept talking. After the presentation, he waited by the door. "Can we talk?" he asked as I was leaving. "No." "Dad, please. I've served my time. I've done the therapy. I've tried to make amends. What more do you want from me?" I looked at my son, at this 50-year-old man who looked like he'd aged 20 years, gray in his hair, defeat in his eyes. "I don't want anything from you, Tyler. Not anymore. I'm your son. You were my son. The person you are now, I don't know him. People can change. Maybe they can, but I don't need to be around for it. You tried to kill me. You poisoned me. You forged my will to cut out your sister. I don't owe you forgiveness. I don't owe you a relationship. I don't owe you anything. What about family? You gave up family when you chose money over your father's life." Tyler's face hardened. I said I was sorry. Sorry doesn't give me back the months you poisoned me. Sorry doesn't erase the recordings. Sorry doesn't rebuild trust that was burned to the ground. So that's it? You're just going to hate me forever? I don't hate you, Tyler. The truth. I don't feel anything for you. That's worse than hate. You're a stranger who happens to share my DNA. He stared at me for a long moment, then nodded. Fine. I tried. He turned to leave, stopped, turned back. For what it's worth, he said quietly, I am sorry. I know, I said, but sorry isn't enough. He walked away. I watched him go. On Sunday mornings now, Sarah calls from San Francisco. We FaceTime while I walk Buddy along the seawall. How are you, Dad? I'm 62 years old, sun on the water, ships in the harbor, learning how to live again. I'm good, I tell her. And I mean it. I survived my son trying to kill me. I recovered my money. I found purpose helping others protect themselves. That's enough. But sometimes, late at night, I still hear that recording. He's lived a good life. And I wonder if Tyler thinks about the life he destroyed. His own. I hope so. Not for revenge, but because maybe that guilt will save someone else's father. I'm Michael Harrison. I'm a survivor. And I'm still here. That's my victory.